I am George Nordhaus, and welcome to Monday Morning. How about this for a title? No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Boy, oh boy, that is so true. This is going to be interesting. Mike Stromsoe is an agent like you. He has a really good agency. He also runs something called the Unstoppable Profit Producer. And well, let me show you Mike. And Mike, tell me a little bit about, let me see your picture. There you go. Good-looking guy, huh? Yeah. Somewhat younger than I am, too. At any rate, he started the agency. I mean, he came to the agency, what, it was about 25 or 30, yeah, it's a long time ago. I didn't realize you started your own. You didn't. What happened to your father's agency? Did he you sell it or something eventually?
Well, actually, my father passed away.
Oh, he passed away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I parted ways with my dad in 1998 with his blessing.
Yeah.
And because I was a little rambunctious and wanted to start my own thing and create my own legacy and so forth, and he said, Mike, good luck. I know you're going to do great things. And he kept his own agency in the small town that he was in, and unfortunately, a couple years later, he got sick, and we lost him. So.
I didn't realize that. You run that agency, and it's very exciting. I see all the stuff you're doing, and I love it. But what's this three-step blueprint for growing your business? Explain that, will you? A little bit.
Well, it's a philosophy that we've developed over 28 years of research, and those 28 years are the number of years that I've been in the insurance industry. I was licensed in 1986. And I cut my teeth for the first 11 years in my dad's agency until I started on my own in 1998. Yeah. Over that time period, we've developed, again, a philosophy which we believe in our heart of hearts, and we continue to develop this philosophy in our own what we call living agency laboratory. That living agency laboratory is our own retail independent insurance agency. So what we're doing and what we share with the world are real proven tools and techniques that we use every single day. Now, I'm not somebody who has been there and done that. I still do it every single day. I lead my own team. It's fantastic. So this philosophy is very simple. It's the 3 Ps. It's the philosophy of the 3 Ps. The first P is people. If you don't have the right people, if you don't have the right people on your bus, there's no use going to the second P. Once you have the right people on the bus, and that includes yourself, you've got to work on yourself just as much as anybody else and help everybody else. Once you've got the right people, then you got to make sure the right processes or systems are in place. You've got to have rock-solid systems. And after you have the right people and you have the right processes and systems in place, then you begin to promote the heck out of it. So you've got the right people, you've got the right processes, and you got the right promotions. Once those 3 things are in sync, you've got an unstoppable agency machine. And that's what we try to help people develop, is an absolutely unstoppable agency machine.
Well, I love it. I love it, and we'll get back to it a little bit more. I saw a great article that you wrote for a publication out of Canada. It was wonderful. And what's new under the sun? You tell me what's new under the sun.
Well, the article is your reality a far cry from this, and it's something that I've come to find to be absolutely accurate. And the answer to that question is there's nothing new under the sun. And the more that I dig into business principles, and everything that works and everything that doesn't work, I find there is nothing new under the sun. It's the same principles. They're just different because today's world is today's world, and they get commingled a little bit. But the bottom line is this. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Timely and relevant communication is a dominant factor. If you don't have a relationship with people, if you don't continue to communicate with people in every way, every single day, that relationship is going to kind of go by the wayside. And what I've noticed in today's world is the carriers, our partner carriers, and don't get me wrong, they're absolutely critical to what we do, but they seem to think a little bit differently. So I wanted to throw out in this article what I'm seeing out there, and that's what I wrote about. So thank you for noticing, and I can't be grateful enough for the position that we're in, and I want to make sure I share it with as many people as possible. And the one comment that I've got on this is, if you want to reach 100% of the marketplace, you've got to use 100% of the ways all of the time.
Well, the first time you came up with that with the 2 paradoxes, which I enjoyed, and the first one, There we go. Carriers. That's an intriguing thing because very few people talk about well, what we should expect from our carriers in the regard about what you're going to be talking about in a minute.
Yeah, our partner carriers are who they are, and I get to meet with some of the largest carriers nationwide at their offices. I get to sit there and listen to what they're saying, what they're thinking, and the interesting thing is, it seems they always have to have a committee that's behind any decision, and being in business as an entrepreneur, for that I could not be more grateful, because when I hear that comment, I'm going, oh, this isn't never going to go anywhere. But what they're always looking at, if they're a stock company, is they've got shareholders they have to answer to. So they're always looking to cut costs. But what I don't think they really realize is how many people they have an opportunity to have a relationship with. It's absolutely amazing, and if they would, I believe in my heart of hearts, invest more in the relationships that they currently have, the easiest money you're ever going to make is the money that you're already making. I think that's so important. I'm going to say that again. The easiest money that you're ever going to make or earn is the money that you're already earning or making. Because if you've got an existing relationship, all you have to do is continue to develop that. It's so easy.
It might be easy to you, but it isn't for a lot of people. All right, that's the first paradox. What's the second?
All right, the second paradox is, you would hope that customers are far more engaged through the digital platform. If you've noticed, everybody seems to have, what do they call those, George? A smartphone?
I guess.
They seem to be pretty popular. Everybody seems to have them, and they're looking at them all the time. I mean, go into a restaurant and look at a family of, say, 6 people sitting at a table. You'll notice that probably 3 or 4 of them at any given point has their smartphone out and they're looking at it. They're not engaged in the relationship and the communication that's right there in front of them. And the companies have seemed to follow this as well in a lot of ways. They think digital is the answer. Well, I'll tell you what we found through our electronic outbound communications in our own living agency laboratory. We have found that people, even though you're delivering an electronic communication, that doesn't mean that somebody's looking at it on the other end. We've got analytics attached to everything. We deliver an awful lot of emails on a weekly basis, and it measures how many people go into a certain area of the email. It's down to sometimes less than 10%. So if you send an email to 100 people, if only 10 people are looking at it, that means 90 aren't. So again, if you want to reach 100% of the marketplace, you've got to use 100% of the ways.
Well, I just suggest to you, go make a speech these days to people and watch what happens. Look out in the audience, and half of them are on their phone. You want to say, shut, whatever, you know what you want to say. But go ahead.
Yeah, right.
Drives you crazy.
And a lot of people are delivering the policies electronically as well, and people, they don't know what to do with it. They're too long, they're complicated. You see, they hire us and they value us for a reason. That's to help them understand what their protection is. I can't tell you, we've got another document that we use in our own agency. It's the liability limits calculator to determine, to make sure that people's net worth is being properly protected. I can't tell you how many millionaires I'm running across nowadays that are seriously underinsured. It's just amazing to me.
I've never heard that before. Never heard it. Honestly, I haven't. I haven't heard that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's you know what I just want to make a comment. When you see 61% of customers, I've never read the policy. Not I kind of know what's in it anyway in my business, but I've never read an insurance policy. I have to admit.
Right.
And you can imagine
lots of gaps and
yeah,
right, lots of gaps and lots of underinsured limits.
I'm sure. All right, go ahead.
All right, so and nearly 81% of customers never receive one communication after the sale, not even a thank you note. So let me ask you this. The last 10 business transactions where you bought something, George, how many thank you notes have you received?
None.
That's the answer that I get so often, none. So if you want to be like every other business out there, if you want to be in the ocean of sameness, just like every other insurance agency, go ahead, do what every other insurance agency does, which is that, nothing, or completely separate yourself and do the exact opposite. Send out a handwritten thank you note. That's at a minimum, that's what you can do. What we've done, we've developed a welcome kit series that stretches out over 180 days that seamlessly turns into our ongoing nurturing programs. It's absolutely amazing, and we've got proven numbers with regard to our retention. So just be a little bit different. So who are we going to rely upon? Are we going to rely upon our business carrier partners to send effective communications to our clients? You know, when we have our team meetings, and we have a team meeting every Wednesday that I'm in town, I consistently discuss with my team where we get our income. We earn our income somehow, some way. Well, we earn it from our customers. So are we going to rely on somebody else to effectively communicate with the people who, you know, help us earn our money? Well, of course not. We've got to lead our own ship. And it's critically important. You know, like I said, they're trying to deliver things digitally, and we discussed the fact that, you know, the majority of digital communications aren't really read or even understood. So, you know, it's important that we have those 100% of the ways in place to make sure. And then we talk about claims. More than half of customers who don't file a claim don't understand how to do so, and they can have a bad or emotional experience.
I hear that quite often, but let me make another comment before we leave this slide. Mm-hmm. Up there in purple, 81% of customers never receive one communication. The answer to that, from a marketing standpoint, is it's called post-purchase cognitive dissonance, PPCD. And that is, I'm never happy. I'm not quite sure I made the right purchase. I want to be told one more time. And it's amazing to me. I made a speech in Oregon a couple of weeks ago, and I had a full room in there, and I said, how many of you send a thank you note to your customers afterwards? One hand out of all those people in that audience was raised. And I just want to say, I can't believe it. My gosh. Eric, go ahead. I just want to tell you that shocked me.
PPCD.
Yeah, post-purchase cognitive dissonance. More on that some other day. Go ahead.
I can't wait. Can I share that with others, though, George?
Oh, everybody you know. I mean, I didn't exactly know.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. The important thing is that we do something with it. We can talk about it all we want. We can think about it all we want. But until we do something with it, nothing's going to happen. So that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, George. But absolutely. And the other thing that I wanted to share, and just to reemphasize this, there's only one person that we can rely upon for our future success. And we have that accountability built into our own agency as well, and that's us. If we want to have more, we have to become more. And when I say that, I'm not talking monetary. I'm talking about our ability to engage with other people, our ability to make a difference in our communities, and all that goes with that. We've got to rely upon ourselves. And yes, our carriers have our financial backing, but that's, in many cases, that's it. So we've got to take effective action. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up on this slide just real quick is the other thing we've implemented based on the claim situation. We have a complete claim monitoring system that takes it from A to Z, and we feel that's absolutely critical. So
it is.
So I was thinking about this when I first saw this on the review. What value are we bringing? And I would encourage everybody out there to brainstorm with your team in a planning session with a flip chart up there in the room and just ask them this question. What value are we bringing to the relationship proposition? And just let them, you know, brain spread on it. Don't think about it too much. Just write it all down. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong answer. It doesn't matter how many there are, because, you know, this is the reason that people do business with us. What value are we bringing to the table? And what this does, when we identify what these values are, when we identify why people would do business with us other than price, because I talk to a lot of people, our clients and others, and I ask them flat out, are we taking very good care of you? Every time you call our office, every time you have a need from us, are we taking very good care of you? And most of them say, yeah, you are. You guys do a fantastic job. And I say, thank you for that. And I get a lot of people that say, Mike, we shop you. You know, every couple of years we just got to check. And sometimes we find somebody that's, you know, a few dollars less. But we know the value of our relationship with you, and that's the key. So you've got to make sure you invest in that value proposition. Why should anyone, you or your team touch, be doing business with your organization over and above any and all other options? We talked about that a couple of minutes ago, George. You don't want to be in the ocean of sameness. You don't want to be like every other business. If you want to completely separate yourself, you've got to do the exact opposite. And you got to do it in a way that's you, that reflects the personality of your organization and everything surrounding it, so that when people think and hear the word insurance, that they think of you and your organization. That's the key. Any other comments on that, George?
No, because it's so obvious. Maybe it's just obvious to me because I'm kind of a nutty guy on relationships, and you know that. You know I'm working on a new program, and I can't say anything about it yet, but a new program that really formalizes the relationship. And some of the things you've already said, I've made notes. I'm going to come to you and get some of that stuff that you do. So stand by. Go ahead.
Well, I'll be happy to share it, George. And think about this. You know, when we look forward to the holidays, and we have the holidays coming up pretty soon, I mean, why is it so important to us? Because we're going to get to spend time with the most important relationships that we have. You know, later on today, I get to connect with our oldest daughter and her husband. I love hanging out with them. And it's one of the most important relationships I have. I can't wait. And so that's the kind of situation you want to have in your own business. Not that, you know, business clients are necessarily family, but, you know, you want to have those kind of relationships. You want to be the go-to person. You want to be the perceived expert in your particular marketplace. So what about a game plan? What about a game plan for profits through communications and relationships? Okay. The first thing that you want to do is you want to produce a blueprint. You want to have a game plan of constant customer communication touch points. You know, a couple things that we've done in our own living agency laboratory, we have a 24/7, 365 live person that answers the phone all the time. I mean, there's nothing that personally drives me crazier when I call somewhere and I get the machine and I got to hit 3 and I got to hit 4 and I got to hit 7 and ultimately after I've wasted a couple of minutes and become very frustrated in many ways, I still don't have a person that can help me. So that's why we do that. It's so vitally important if we want to have a world-class, top-notch relationship. The other things that we do, another thing we do, we have a minimum of 27 touches that go out of our office to every person that we have a business relationship with during a one-year period. So 27 times a year, we touch our customers in some way. It is 100% of the ways. You know, we send them out a nurturing email every month. We send them out a snail mail newsletter every month, and we also deliver that newsletter electronically at the request of hundreds of people. You know, I went to our marketing director last year sometime, maybe prior to that, and asked her, I said, what do you think about an electronic newsletter? She has said, I have a list of over 100 people who want it electronically. And we still send it snail mail, and we still send it electronically, and both endeavors result in opportunities. I can't begin to tell you. So many people get our communications, and they get back to us, and they say, oh, I've been meaning to contact you about an umbrella. I've been meaning to contact you about my workers' comp. I've been meaning to, and when you appear, the student is ready when the teacher appears, right? So that's who you become. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So, and they're all critical factors. All of these things are critical factors in your outgoing communications: personality, events, frequency, emotion, customer segmentation. We have a complete program on customer segmentation. All of our customers are segmented: AAA, AA, single A. And that's just, you know, some people do ABC. It doesn't matter. We know who you know, the AAA customers are, because the problem is the 80-20 rule is always in effect. That's not a problem. The situation is the 80-20 rule is always in effect. And what we find in a lot of businesses is the bottom 20% is taking 80% of our time. So you got to make sure you understand who's actually helping you with your income. It's normally the AAA clients, and we never pay enough attention to them. So you've got to have a VIP program in place, and we've got that in many different ways. So you've got to do your math. You've got to know where your business is really coming from, and you've got to make sure that you do something about it. In our outgoing communications, we use something that nobody can take away from us: our own lives and our own experiences. We've formed a board, a consulting board for our marketplace, and it's our grandkids. Our grandkids are the Society of Consumer Education. And we put that out in a lot of different communications, and we use their pictures to communicate certain things to our marketplace. Nobody can duplicate that. You know, our grandson Jameson was on the front of our newsletter recently holding $1 million bill, and, you know, he had kind of a serious look on his face because my daughter was kind enough to help me out, and it says, you don't have to be a millionaire to get sued by like one. You don't have to be a millionaire to get sued like one. So he had the $1 million bill, our grandson, and then the other picture on the bottom right was a couple of our other grandkids with smiles on their faces and $1 million bills, and the message was, the good news is we can help you. See, nobody can duplicate that. Well, it's you. It's you and yours alone. So, you know, use whatever your passions and your personalities and your families and all that are, because it will make a difference in your particular marketplace.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Your communication, it's got to be proactive, never reactive. Don't wait for the phone to ring. Make the phone ring. Don't wait for the phone to ring. Make the phone ring. Timely communications builds relationships and limits escalation of customer issues. You never want people to be disengaged. You know, people are constantly looking at your business, okay? You know, there's a story out there that was told years and years ago by Earl Nightingale about the acre of diamonds. And he said, in part, that if you're not watering your own lawn, keeping it nice and green, and you're worried about keeping somebody else's lawn green, yours is going to start to turn brown. You've got to make sure that you're doing everything that you can to make sure that your lawn is as green and as lush as possible. And that's, you know, that's your own existing customer base. So you've got to do things that you can, every possible way, to engage with your marketplace. And one of the things that I've identified is an opportunity to completely wow people is a billing situation. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what's the thing that people probably least like to do with regard to their insurance, George?
Pay the bill, I suppose.
Pay the bill. So if you can do something to bring a positive spin onto a billing situation, why not?
Why not?
Why not? You know, people fear what they don't understand as well. So if you've got a premium change, let them know what happened. Let them know why. Explain to them why. And when they understand it, you see, confused people don't make a decision either. So when you eliminate that confusion, you know, we call it around the agency the remove all doubt syndrome. When you remove all doubt, people can make decisions, and that's what you want to help them do. You want to make them make a decision to buy the right protection. So there's lots of things that you can do. The other thing that I have down here is, you know, everybody's got a pain meter. And that pain meter is normally running anywhere from 1 to 10, with 10 being the most intense. If you've got somebody that's got a painful situation, whether it be an outbound communication or whatever that they've received from a carrier partner, and the carrier partner computer system that just sends these documents out, they spew them out from time to time, they're not necessarily concerned about what it says. They just know by law they have to send it out. We've got to make sure that we're proactive and help people understand. Because remember, people fear what they don't understand. Make a meaningful channel shift. So there's an increasing number of customers who own a smartphone. We talked about that earlier on the call. I was being a little bit facetious when I asked that question. Everybody seems to have a smartphone. In fact, one of our very large clients is a smartphone retailer. And the joke that we throw around from time to time is, you know, I've noticed people, you know, they have to either buy food or pay their smartphone bill. Which is it going to be? Well, the joke is, you know, how long do I have to think about it, right? Because everybody's attached to one, and they seem to be a lifeline to an extent. So the importance of being mobile is demonstrated by the fact that 95% of text messages are open within 7 minutes. So that's back to knowing how to communicate with your marketplace 100% of the ways. Text has become an effective medium of communications for our agency, and it's true. The minute we send out a text message, we get a response, especially if it's well written. So you've got to make sure that you know how to communicate with your marketplace in a manner that they want to be communicated with. That's the key. You've got to make sure they want to receive it that way. Part of what we've got in our agency management system is we have a line item, a custom line item, that says how the customer wants to be communicated with. And so, if we pull lists of all of our customers, we find the one who likes snail mail, we find the ones who like text, we find the ones who like email, and if we're going to send out a meaningful message to those particular customers, we'll send it in that way first, because that's when it's going to get read first. You see, the other thing that I've learned in my research over the last 28 years is there's so many messages coming at people nowadays. They're just drowning in data overload. So, you've got to make sure it's meaningful. You got to make sure that it's important, and you got to deliver it at a time when they have time to read it. All of that comes into play.
And before you go on that last paragraph, let me just make a note to you. I have a granddaughter is 15 years old. And she won't read her emails, and I can't communicate because I don't text. I guess I could learn to. I did for a while, but I don't text anymore. I'm so busy that I don't find time to do it. She won't. We have to talk on the phone because she won't answer emails. She texts all day, all night. Oh, brother. Anyhow, that's another story. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for that, George, because that's a key point. And let me add this: there's multiple programs out there, George, that you can invest in. Because is your relationship with your granddaughter important?
Uh-huh. It is.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. So
she doesn't know it as much as I know it. Yeah.
Right. Well, she'll figure it out. So it's going to be amazing when she gets into her early 20s how much you've learned in a short period of time, right?
You ain't kidding.
AKA Mark Twain. So, but back to our conversation here. There's a program that you can invest in out there that'll attach to your email, where you can send text messages right from your Outlook.
Oh, really?
So I'll be happy to share that with you offline here later. So
yeah, please.
The sky's the limit. George, I don't think we should hold back from our listeners. So let me give you the URL. It's www. Is this okay, George? If I give you the URL?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, it's www.media media hyphen message.com.
Mm-hmm.
media-message.com. It's what we use out of our agency management system. And when we send an email, all you have to do is, open up an email, type in the cell phone number there, do your thing, and it sends. So
perfect.
It's good stuff. That's how I communicate with our kids, because they want to do the same thing, but I can type faster in an email than I can on my little phone because I have fat thumbs. But
me too. I have great big hands. I can't even begin to do it. Go ahead.
Exactly. So, but the bottom line is this: you got to know how your marketplace wants to receive the information, and the thing is, back to our carrier partners for just a second. No disrespect to them, because they're such an important part of what we do, but they're not necessarily paying attention to that. So we've got to, again, it's critically important that we take control of our destiny. Meaning the relationships that we have, the prospects and clients that we do business with. So then it's important, after you figure out how you're going to say it, that you say something meaningful that would be worthwhile in reading. Always be a student of every industry. George, I've been so fortunate to be involved with so many different industries on a national and actually international basis for the last 15 plus years or so, and I can't tell you, I have learned so much from outside of our industry, it's not even funny. I study other industries as closely as I can because, no disrespect to the insurance industry, but, they are who they are. They're the ocean of sameness, and a lot of people within the industry think an awful lot alike, and it's the same old, same old. If you want to be like every other business, do what they do, like I said, or separate yourself. So I've gone outside of the industry, and I study other industries, and there's so much good stuff out there. There's so many massively successful companies. So look at your own mail. One of the things that I encourage people to do is study your own incoming mail pile. And I would be willing to bet anybody that what you're going to see is a bunch of white envelopes. You're going to see a bunch of white envelopes. It's going to look like everything else. So if you want to stand out in a mail pile, then go to uline.com. That's www.uline.com and get some cool envelopes that will stand out. Your envelope will get opened. Then it talks about video email here. I don't know how many people that might be looking at this send video emails. I send video emails all the time. It's live. It's me. They see my face. They hear my voice. instantly to communicate a message. It's absolutely incredible, and I always get a response when I send out a video email. They come back to me and said, I've never received anything like that. Isn't that what you wanted to say, George?
I use it too. I use BombBomb. Is that who you use, or what do you use?
There's a number of email delivery services out there. The one that I probably use the most still is iJot. It's EYEJOT.com. They have a free version that you can use, but it has their name all over it. We've invested up the ladder, and we have our own custom. The thing I kind of like about that is every time somebody clicks on the video email, it sends me back a message telling me that they've read it. And when I know I've hit a home run with a video email is when I keep getting these clicked messages back. That means they're forwarding it on to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good thing?
I think it's a great thing. One of the domain name I'll give you, or a link to give you, is have you ever used 3D mail? It's phenomenal.
I have. Yeah.
Maybe you told me about it one time. At any rate, it's 3D, the big capital D, mailresults.com. And it's phenomenal. I just love what those guys are doing, because you're sending them something that people have to look at and open, and man, oh man, it's a little bit more expensive than just sending a letter, but boy, does it get opened. That's another thing. Go ahead.
Well, absolutely. It's all about ROI, George. That's return on investment. If you spend $1 and you earn $1 or more back, celebrate.
Amen.
Especially in our industry, we're so fortunate because that's only first-year income. If you don't know what the lifetime value of a client is in your own business, I think that's extremely important that you figure that out. How long are you keeping clients? What's the lifetime value of a client? Let's say you make $100 the first year, but if you keep that client for 10 years, there's another $900 coming. Why are you not investing something to keep that $900? If you lose it, you lost it. But if you have to spend another $200 to get another $900, how many times are you going to do that, George?
I know that well.
Exactly. So, and the other thing that you can do to separate yourself out there in the world is create your own persona or your own brand. I in my particular marketplace, I'm the insurance doc. I write prescriptions for insurance coverage illnesses and insurance rate pains. I've got a car that matches. I've got scrubs that match. I've got a white coat that matches with a stethoscope. I've got little prescription pads, and I'm out there in my marketplace. This has been going on for a few years. Everybody I know knows who I am. They walk to me and say, "Hey, Doc." It's absolutely magical. I can't begin to tell you what a difference it's made in our ability to reach an entire marketplace. But, that's just me. That's my personality. That's my persona. I would encourage people to, think about what your personality is. What do you love? What are you passionate about? And pursue something along those lines. And then, just send periodic news through print and emails that are relevant to the season. As an example, I learned years ago, and I can't recall right at this moment who I learned it from, but, the thought process is this. There's 12 months in a year, right? January, February, March. Every month has an opportunity to touch somebody. Okay, so January is what? New Year. February is Valentine's Day. And I'll tell you this, February is one of our best marketing months of the year. You know why? Because it's about love, and love is the strongest emotion. And so when you can communicate that effectively and let people know that you love them, that, whatever reason, they will respond. We get more response to our February output than any other month of the year. So, January, February, March is St. Patrick's Day, April is springtime, May is Memorial Day, and so on and so forth. So every month has something that you can communicate to people about. There's really, frankly, no excuses not to communicate something important to other people. So understand the customers better. What do you have to do? Well, let me ask you a question, George.
Shoot.
When you want to know something about Sue and you don't know the answer, what do you do?
Well, I ask.
Exactly. That's the key to understanding your customers, your prospects, or your marketplace better. The key is to ask. Many deliver marketing messages often, but they don't know the results because not only do they not do their math, they don't have analytics attached, or they have no other way to figure it out. But before you send the messages out, the most important thing you need to do is understand your marketplace. We've also got a tool that we use that gives us data on our marketplace. It's a series of questions that we can ask our marketplace to better understand them and find out what they are thinking about, what they're reading about, what will wake them up in a cold sweat at 3:01 in the morning. So when you know all of this information, you can better create a message, create a communication, an outbound communication that's going to reach your marketplace, that they're going to read, and hopefully that they're going to react upon. So all of it, in a sense, is critically important in synchronicity. Effective use of all available information about the customer is the cornerstone of an effective relationship communication. There's so many effective ways out there that you can build this little arsenal, this little gold mine. I'll give you another tip out there online. There's a fella out there who's been around for a lot of years. He's absolutely brilliant in his own legacy, I should say. Harvey McKay 66. If you will Google that, you will find a sheet out there on Google. Harvey McKay 66. It's 66 things you should know about every customer you do business with. If you don't have that sheet, if you haven't integrated that into your business, you're leaving a lot of profits on the table. I will say that. And retailers tend to lead the pack here. There's a multitude of lessons. Start studying everybody that you do business with, whether you're in the grocery store, whether you're in the post office, in any other retail store, whether you're on the phone with somebody. Start studying what they do. And what I think you'll find is you're going to find you have a ton of opportunity to get better, to earn more, to be more dominating in your particular marketplace. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't care what form of communication is out there in the world. It's all about relationships, and they're absolutely critical. So with every evolving customer, their wants and their needs, and the exploding technology front that we've got out there, we still today have an incredible opportunity to build every relationship into a know, like, and trust bond. People might know you. People even might like you because of what they see. You know, I get lots of people telling me, Mike, I looked at your website. It's so awesome. You do so much for the community and so forth and so on. So they know me. They kind of like me because of what they see, but that trust bond is not there yet. Are they going to trust me with 100% of the assets that they work so hard for? That's the key. You've got to build that know, like, and trust bond and deliver an absolute wow experience that will cause customers to tell everybody they know at every opportunity when they hear the word insurance in a conversation about you. That's absolutely critical. So what you want nothing but a bunch of raving fans running around out there all over your marketplace, and every time they hear the word insurance, they think Stromsoe Insurance Agency. Without question, no regrets there, call them. That's what you want to happen in your marketplace. And until you can, communicate with your marketplace in 100% of the ways, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So
That's good.
Thank you, George.
That is good.
Yeah, and it's back to the February conversation we had just a minute ago. This caring emotion, this love emotion, in a sense, it's got to be portrayed, communicated, felt, transmitted, showed, listened for in every single transaction with every person touched every single minute of every single day. So, we had our team meeting earlier this week, and our topic of conversation was the 4 scripted closes that we've got in our office. Yes, every time before somebody hangs up the phone in our office, we have a scripted close, because when our people that we're communicating with on the phone walk away from that phone call, we want them to say, boy, I am so glad I made that call. Because when they think that and they run into somebody else and they hear the word insurance, what do we want them to say? Oh, man, I just hung up with my agent. They rock. And that person might be thinking, well, I don't like mine. In fact, I've been on hold for the last 20 minutes with my provider. I need to call your people. And, of course, then you have your referral program that incentivizes them to make sure they mention their name. So great stuff. So what are you doing to motivate and lead your team proactively to this level every minute of every day. Because once you install the systems, and back to what we said earlier, it's so simple. The 3 Ps: people, processes, and promotion, in that order. People, processes. What kind of processes do you have in place to motivate and lead your team proactively to this level every minute of every day? And once you have all that in place, working in synchronicity, you've got an unstoppable profit machine. And that's the goal with our program, is to take everything that has been proven and tested in our own agency, because we've got it. We've got it in place, and it operates every single day, and we've got the numbers to back it up. So I just want to make sure that I share that with everybody who wants the same thing out there in the world, so they can quickly implement it, so they can have what we have. And it's absolutely an awesome life. I can't begin to, I could tell you stories upon stories, but we don't have time today, George.
Well, I tell you what, I've learned so much here in a short period of time. I'm so amazed. I'm still reeling when you said that you had an average of 27, or a minimum of 27 touches on each of your clients every year. That's huge. I've never heard anything like that. The only one that I know that touches more is Geico, and you get about 1,000 touches a year on that, but that's a different kind of a thing. What you're doing there is fantastic. And I'm reeling with that. Well, listen, before we leave, you have the Unstoppable Profit Producer organization, and people want to know more about that, what it does. Tell me about it just a little bit before we quit.
All right, well, my recent thought is, why not, if you're looking at this, why not you? And why not now? That's a little play off the quarterback of a Northwest football team, who learned that from his dad. His dad said that to him his entire upbringing. Why not you, and why not now? And I agree with that. Why not now? My encouragement for people, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, so take today to make a difference. Our Unstoppable Profit Producer program, we do live events. We do them twice a year, and they're 2-day events. And what we do is we share every single intimate detail of our entire agency operation in an organized program, so that anybody that's there can take the information. We give it to you. We give it to you in written and electronic form, so that you can walk away with it and implement it immediately. So we've put it together so that we've got all of it, that people can instantly, take up to 5 to 10 years off the process of building this kind of machine for their either agency business or any other business for that fact. Because, honestly, I've got lots of people from outside of our industry in the program as well, because business principles or business principles. So, if you want to learn more, we've got an event coming up December 4th and 5th in Southern California, December 4th and 5th, 2014, 2 full days. With me, I personally lead the entire program. Nobody else leads it. I lead it. I teach it. I share everything with you that I've learned and everything that I'm going to learn. All you have to do is call 800-770-9984, or just go to beunstoppable2014.com. beunstoppable2014.com. Our program director, Andrea Wyatt, responds to these personally. She's been with me a lot of years, and she is passionate about helping business people get down the road so that they can make a difference, be unstoppable, and leave no regrets. So, George, I can't thank you for the opportunity to share with everybody that's looking at this or listening to it, or both. And my goal is just that they would take action. We don't have a slide for it, George. Can I?
I've done this thing many times, many hundreds of times. I've videoed, and cassette tapes and all that for many years. And you're one of the most articulate guys who tells it like it is. I'm so happy I got you on this thing, and I know I have a great feeling that you're going to be back here again. I hope, right?
Just ask.
Sometime.
Just like when you need to know something from Sue. Just ask, right?
I want people to go back to the email and go to the tip of the week, or the community center's quiz flashes. You like that? And Michael, Dr. Stromsoe, you are wonderful. I forgot about Doc. I should have said Doc, shouldn't I? Okay, Doc, we're going to show those pictures. I've seen those pictures. Next time around, let's show them. Want to?
It's up to you, George, but I couldn't be thankful enough. I couldn't be grateful enough for this opportunity. And
see the rest of you next Monday morning.
All right, George. Take care. And thank you, everybody. Take action.